Hello everybody, welcome to another watercolor tutorial. We are painting this picture. I was scrolling through my Instagram and this is a picture that I took 8 years ago when I was in Hawaii. So we're gonna attempt to paint this, see what it turns out looking like. I'm really tempted to tape the borders of my piece of paper, and I should have done that ahead of time, but I just have some tape from a different painting, which is roughly the same size as this one, so I'm just reusing the tape. And this is just regular Scotch tape, by the way. Nothing special. But all right, let's get started. So we're gonna paint the background first, of course. And our background is blue, but it's broken down into two sections of blue, I suppose. We have the sky and we have the ocean, the Pacific Ocean. So I am using a baby blue for the top portion. And I'm just gonna apply that. I'm a little nervous that the green from the tape is going to spill over, but too late to go back now. So I'm just covering the entire top portion with a layer of this blue. It's a little intense for my liking, so I am going to try and water it down a tad. A little green at the top there. That's okay. Now I am going to attempt to recreate these clouds, if you can see them here. I am really not good at white clouds. I just don't know how to paint clouds. So I'm gonna try lifting paint off. So I've dried off my brush as best as I can here. And it looks like there is a white cloudy section over here. So I'm just dabbing my dry brush, picking up that blue paint. Another section there. And then kind of the top as well. Now, the good thing about this is that not all of the clouds in this photo are white. They're kind of like grayish and stormy and probably holding a lot of moisture. And they're ready to drop some water. So I'm gonna pick up gray after I'm happy with the white sections here. And I'm gonna, okay, that is too much. And that is kind of green rather than gray, which is my fault for not using just pure gray. I just picked up whatever was on my palette. Anyway, I'm trying to drop that down below, underneath the white part. And also kind of on the horizon, because it's very gray on my horizon at least. And then gets very dark in this corner. And then there's a little bit of gray up here on the white section. Now, we can always go back and try to pick up some more of the white. That's definitely still an option that's available to us. So I'm gonna try and do that again. Pick up some of that white. And there seems to be some dark, not dark blue, but like a grayish blue in there as well. So I'm going to mix blue and gray together. And drop it at the bottom. Although in my picture, it's kind of at the top of each cloud. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? If you have your own technique for painting white clouds, by all means, like, use it and don't look to me for guidance, because clouds are not my forte. This is just, you don't even have to paint clouds, to be totally frank with you. Just have a blue sky if you don't even want to go through this process. But sometimes, like, it's actually sort of coming together. So I actually do think that you, if you're gonna do the clouds and you're gonna add the shadows, do add the darker values on the top of the cloud rather than the bottom. It makes it look a lot more realistic, and I couldn't tell you why, because I don't know why it looks more realistic. Probably has something to do with the reflection of the cloud and the sun, but I wouldn't know. So I just picked up, I mixed a little bit of black in with that same color, and I'm just dropping it in with, like, I'm just putting it on top of the cloud as we've been doing, because as you drop the color, because we're doing wet on wet here, it does fade out and it's not as intense. So we want to maintain that intensity by continuously dropping more pigment in there. The thing is, it's starting to dry. Sorry, not dry, but it's like bleeding into the bottom section and totally going over that white part where we picked up pigment. So you're welcome to dry off your brush and go back in and try and pick some of that up. And I think I'm just gonna leave it there, because really this portion is so not the focus of our painting anyways. I was just trying to create a cloudy atmosphere, but clouds are not my forte, so let's just leave it. But what I'm doing now is taking like the deepest blue that I have. You can achieve a similar color simply by mixing whatever blue you have with black and, you know, warming it up or cooling it down with other colors. And we're just going to be applying the ocean. So I've got a nice deep blue here. Please make sure that your horizon is dry. Mine, it probably isn't, because I just painted that cloud there. So I'm really hesitant to apply any color up there. Oh, it's the first day of spring today. Like when I'm filming this, not when you guys are gonna see this. When you see this, it's going to almost be summer, or at least summer weather. And I cannot wait for that day. But I am feeling so much better mentally than I was just 3 weeks ago when we had another snowstorm. I was like, oh my God, I don't know how much more of this I can take. But we're mid to end of March. It's the first day of spring. Life is good. I'm slowly just inching closer and closer to that horizon. I'm kind of tempted. It's not on my picture, my reference photo. But I'm very tempted to add these like foamy sections to indicate waves, as I've done in past ocean beach paintings. I haven't done that in so long that I can't even remember how to do it. I would have to go back and look at my own tutorials, which I do often, and I have no shame in saying that. Okay, sorry, pause in my little monologue here, but I'm gonna lighten the top part by watering it down, and I want to darken this part. So I'm going to add a little bit of black. Okay. So there are two ways that we can go about making this ocean more realistic. We can just leave it the way it is, because this is really the background. The main focus is going to be that silhouette of a cliff that we paint in a moment. But if you do want to spruce up your ocean, you have a couple of options. While it is still wet, you can go in with your paintbrush and add like darker streaks and features that way. Alternatively, we can probably let it completely dry and then go back and add those features. And I'm really tempted to do that instead, because I don't want to ruin this beautiful gradient that we've created. Okay, so this is dry, and what I've done in the past, I'm just switching to a smaller brush. This is a size 1. But what I've done in the past is taken a blue, and we're gonna create the curling part of the wave, like the concave part. When you look at a wave and the bottom is like attached to the water, obviously, and the top has this kind of white foamy stuff, and you look into that curve, that's what we're trying to paint here. And the closer that they get to the bottom, technically the bigger they should appear. I'm gonna try and fade them out. I'm really experimenting here. I don't totally know what I'm doing, because again, this is not in my painting. So I've taken a dry brush that I'm trying to like extend this to the bottom so it doesn't look totally off. Honestly, I should have started at the top and gone downwards. Oh well. I'm not going to do that for every single one. I'm just going to do lines now. Like this. My gosh, I would love to be at a beach right now. I don't know about you guys. The farther that you get away from the viewer, by the way, the thinner, shorter, and smaller you want your ripples to be, or your waves, whatever these are. Again, if you don't want the possibility of ruining your painting, just don't do this part, because I have a very real chance of doing that. It's just this painting is so plain. I wanted to spruce it up a little. I'm feeling daring this morning. It's not even 9 a.m. guys. I think this is the earliest I've ever painted in my life. Okay, so very good. I like how this looks so far. This is usually the point where I ruin things. But I am going to now take my trusty acrylic paint from the dollar store and apply some fun details. So we're going to apply the bubbles that kind of go, the foamy part on the top of the wave. So I've taken, like I said, I took acrylic paint and I'm very lightly just dabbing that acrylic paint on the top portion of each darker ripple that we painted. Usually I say, you know, trust the process, because I'm looking at a reference image. So I know that it's going to end up looking all right. But this is totally not on my photo. I am just totally improvising here. And this might end up looking horrible. Like right now, this just looks like a giant bird, the silhouette of a bird. And you can blend that white out a little bit into the blue, so that it's not such a high contrast. You can always go back and add more white later, so just keep that in mind. And then why am I adding it to the bottom here? I'm not exactly sure. These just don't look very realistic. I don't know what's going on there, so I'm just trying it on the bottom and seeing if that makes a difference. I really need to look at my crashing wave tutorial, because this looks a lot better there. It has something to do with the shading that I'm doing incorrectly here. That's okay though. Okay, I do want to, in fact, add to the top the same thing here. This foamy appearance. Okay, that looks actually not that bad, guys, not that bad at all. I'm going back in and just adding like a little bit more intense white, like I'm not blending it out as much, since I've already established a foamy base. And you're totally welcome to do the same for, you know, the other ones. I'm using a watercolor paintbrush to apply this acrylic paint, which I really don't recommend doing. People have asked me why you shouldn't use a watercolor brush for acrylic paint, and I mean, I feel like it's a little self-explanatory. If they were universal, then they wouldn't sell watercolor and acrylic paintbrushes separately. But the reason, at least from my experience, there might be other reasons, but my reasoning is because the acrylic paint, even when you rinse it, it gets into this metal part of the brush that holds all the bristles. And when that acrylic paint dries in that metal part, it spreads the bristles out. And this paintbrush that I'm actually using is a perfect example of that. You can even see, maybe you can't see, but some of the bristles are already like flared out, because I've had this paintbrush for a while and I've used it for acrylic paint. So that's why I don't recommend using them for acrylic paint, even for these tiny details. If you want, you can extend some of those acrylic details beyond the darker portions that you painted. So you can have some foamy bubbles just on the surface of the water as well. Whatever you want to do, you can always go back and add more later. Anyways, I'm gonna stop there for now. I can always go back and add more later. I'm just going to paint on my cliff. So my cliff goes down like this, diagonally. And it's like a blackish brown with these yellow grassy patches. I don't know if I'm going to paint the grassy patches though. So it starts pretty high up, like almost at the top of the painting. I'm just going to apply kind of the main part first. Okay, so I'm experiencing something that I didn't think about, and that's the fact that the watercolor doesn't cover the acrylic paint here. So that was kind of stupid on my part. I guess you can remedy that by just painting your cliff with acrylic paint, which I might do if that actually happens to be an extended problem. So I've got the bulk portion of this cliff down, and now you can go back and, you know, make it a lot more jaggedy and rocky with the end of your paintbrush. So in my picture, my cliff is way more, it's much wider. But if I do that in this painting, then I'm gonna cover a lot of the ocean, which I might just do. Whoa, my black half pan just came out. It's because there's like no paint in there. I need to fill it up again. All right, in hindsight, I would have made it shorter, and then it wouldn't look as like intense. I'm also, again, it's not in my painting, but I'm tempted to add like a cliff sticking out on this side. What could be sticking out on this? Yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna add like a cliff or some, I don't know what this is, a ledge. Sure. I don't know what that is, but it adds a little bit of asymmetry, or maybe it makes it more symmetrical, this painting, because before it was very left heavy. And another thing I'm going to do is add little, what do you call it, birds as details to fill in this space. So that should be enough birds there. You can add as many as you would like. So once you're happy with that, you can peel off your tape. and that should reveal clean borders. And that's basically it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this this painting. I'm gonna try and pull that out again. So, you know, there are some similarities there, but let me know what you think in the comments. Hit like on this video if you enjoyed it, and please don't forget to subscribe because I upload 2 times every single week, and you wouldn't want to miss a nicer painting than this one. Thanks for watching.